So if you think you cannot change, you can. And all it takes is for you to start being conscious in those moments so that you can make a different decision from the decision you've been making on autopilot, which is to abandon yourself. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining how to stop abandoning yourself when you are communicating with other people and are struggling with people pleasing, and how to convey yourself and your truth and your boundaries to others when struggling with people pleasing. Also, I've just started a new channel, a second channel, so this channel will still be running, but if you'd like to check out that new channel, I'll leave the link in the description box. So if you're struggling with people pleasing due to being bullied or another reason, something I've noticed really helps when you're struggling with people pleasing is to slow down when you're talking to people. So as many of you may know, I got bullied really badly when I was a kid, and something I noticed happened to me when I kind of eventually got out into the world and had to interact with people was that I became a people pleaser, and I realised that this was a protective mechanism because obviously when you've been bullied as a child, you then grow up associating people with trauma, with suffering, and so what often happens is you then start to feel like you need to please the people around you to keep yourself safe, because your brain is telling you, if these people don't like me just like my bullies didn't, I'm going to suffer. Okay, so when I was about 20, I noticed myself become a major people pleaser. I was like the yes girl, the instant girl, the girl, good old Caitlin, she'll always show up for you and give you what you want. And people liked me because of it, but it was superficial. Everyone liked me, but nobody respected me, okay? And something I noticed I did was that every time people spoke to me, I felt pressure to give them an instant response, like an instant yes or just an instant pleasing answer, and also to just give them such a quick answer that it wouldn't take up any of their time because I didn't feel worthy of taking up time. I also didn't feel worthy or safe to actually stop in that moment and ask myself, what is my truth? And what do I truly feel and think in this moment, and then give myself the time to actually convey it to this person. I was not valuing myself enough to do that. I was in such a place of low self-esteem that I didn't feel worthy of taking up time and space, okay? And also because I was trying desperately to please these people, so I felt the pressure to give them an instant response as to not take up, 5 seconds of their time, and also to give them a response that was pleasing to them. Now, I spent a few years of my life being this way. I've mentioned before about how I worked in this hotel for a few years, and where I had all of these experiences where I learned to own my voice and stand up for myself and have boundaries and overcome some of these wounds that I'd obtained from being bullied. And during this time, when I was people pleasing so much, I would just go home every day and feel so empty and like I'd just peel off my skin to reveal the truth of who I actually was, because I'd been hiding it all day, every day to please other people. And it just left me feeling so empty and so fake and so disregarded and disrespected, because I had been making the decision to do this to myself every day, to abandon myself so quickly for other people. And, I had been doing an injustice to myself by abandoning myself like this for other people. And my life, as a result, was full of people who liked me superficially but had no respect for me. And something I eventually learned is that I was showing these people how to treat me. Because me abandoning myself and my voice and my truth in those moments was me holding myself to that standard, and therefore other people held me to that standard as well. You know, Caitlin abandons herself for me, so I'm not going to respect her. Okay? Now, when I learned all of these things and I started to speak more intentionally, and because the thing is, it becomes a reflex to abandon yourself. If you've been bullied, if you've become a people pleaser, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is not like a conscious thing in the moment to abandon yourself. It honestly becomes like a reflex, and you have to work quite hard to not do that in those moments. So when I became aware of this, for a while, I had to really, really try hard to wake myself up in these moments and make a conscious choice to slow down and not abandon myself. A conscious choice to value my thoughts, needs, and desires and my boundaries rather than give somebody else an instant response, or give them a pleasing response, or give them a response that is in alignment with what they want, and rather be true to myself. So I started to intentionally slow down and calm down when people spoke to me. And I practiced this at work because, you know, I had people coming to me all the time to talk to me, and, you know, people, like I said, people liked me there, but they did not respect me. And so I started to practice being intentional. And so when people would come to talk to me, I would just slow down. I would not instantly speak. I would not instantly give them an answer. In that moment, I would ask myself, what do you think? What do you need? And what do you want? Are you about to say yes to something you want to say no to? Are you about to let somebody disrespect you? Is this a moment where you need to define a boundary with this person? And after a while, it started to become natural for me to do that. Now, as people pleasers, you're often afraid to not give someone an instant response. You know these people where you ask them a question and you see them think about it before they respond. This is someone who is not a people pleaser. This is someone who is not willing to abandon themselves for anybody else. This is someone who, when you ask them a question, they ask themselves a question so that they can give you their true answer. And that's what we need to start doing. And if you're a people pleaser, this often means you need to make yourself become conscious in these moments. So it is okay when somebody asks you a question to look them in the eyes for 5 seconds and not say anything. As people pleasers, we can be afraid of that silence for a moment, okay? You can feel the other person wanting an answer from you. You can make them wait for a few seconds. It's not like I'm telling you to go away for a month and then respond, but like I said, you know these people who you ask a question to and they are silent for a few seconds because they're asking themselves the question, which is what we should be doing, okay? So that we don't abandon ourselves in these moments. So slow down. You know what I'm talking about if you're a people pleaser. You know what I'm talking about. You know that moment when someone says something to you and you just throw out like these automated responses that leave you feeling empty afterwards because they're just automated responses that you know will please other people. And they then leave you feeling empty and disregarded and disrespected because you've just said something that doesn't truly reflect who you are. And so when I started doing this and I started slowing down, at first, everybody was like, whoa, what's happened? This is so weird. People were like, Caitlin is just so different. And then I noticed them really start to respect me. I literally watched people start respecting me. And the reason why was because when you value yourself like that, when you value your response, other people start to value your response, okay? Because you are now holding yourself to a new standard that they are seeing they now have to meet, okay? The way you treat yourself is showing others how to treat you. I was now valuing my response more than somebody else's want from me and somebody else's time. I was now putting my own truth above that, okay? I was setting a new standard that other people needed to meet if they wanted an answer from me. Now people see this. People, how you treat yourself is you showing others how to treat you, okay? So if you are willing to abandon yourself for other people, they will not respect you. If you are willing to abandon yourself for other people, you are showing them that there is nothing here to value, and they will respond to that subconsciously. It's not like they're doing it purposely, they're not terrible people. We're just all working in a subconscious way. You know, we respond to things subconsciously. So when you are abandoning yourself for other people, you are subconsciously not valuing yourself, okay? You're not valuing your response. You are not valuing your truth. You're valuing other people's time above your truth. And so they subconsciously respond to that. They subconsciously decide that you are inferior to them because you're abandoning yourself for them. So it's all subconscious. We're all just really animals at the end of the day, okay? But this is so important, and it will help you in your communication with other people and in setting boundaries and standards with other people if you are struggling with people pleasing. It is really important if you're struggling with people pleasing when you're communicating with other people to really take the time to slow down and ask yourself the question before responding, because as a people pleaser, you're often too willing to abandon yourself for other people. So try to practice slowing down when people ask you questions, okay? And if you think that you can't do this and you can't change, trust me, you can, because I've done it myself. I probably stopped being a people pleaser when I was 23. When I was 23, that's when I really just said, fuck this. I've had enough of abandoning myself for other people. I think I've written blogs about this before, where you reach this moment where you just get angry because you get so, like, it just builds up within you, and one day you just explode because you've just been disrespected and disregarded for so long because you've been abandoning yourself, and it just pisses you off in the end. It did for me. I was just like, I've had enough of this. I'm not doing this anymore. I just exploded one day, and that anger was actually a beautiful thing. That anger is not a negative thing. That anger was me beginning to respect myself. That anger was actually passion for myself. It was me returning to love for myself, because setting boundaries and valuing yourself, that is loving yourself, okay? Setting boundaries with other people, not being willing to abandon yourself for other people, is loving yourself, okay? So this anger was actually me beginning to love myself and value myself once again. So when I was about 23, that's when I really stopped doing this, and I became like the total opposite. I'm now 27, and I literally, being a people pleaser is not even a single part of who I am anymore. I'm literally the polar opposite to a people pleaser now. I now make people wait for a response. I give them a response that is of value. I give them a truthful response, whether it will please them or not. I say no to people when I want to say no to people. I do justice to myself. I come home every day from being with friends or wherever, and I feel good about myself because I've not abandoned myself. I have spoken words that truly reflect who I am, and they convey my truth and my standards and my needs and my boundaries. So if you think you cannot change, you can. And all it takes is for you to start being conscious in those moments so that you can make a different decision from the decision you've been making on autopilot, which is to abandon yourself. So you just need to intentionally slow down in these moments, and eventually it will become your natural state, okay? So I really hope this has helped you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.